At 5:55 in the morning, somewhere in Nebraska, a woman is making coffee in a narrow compartment at the front of a moving train. The train has been running for almost 18 hours. Outside, flat, dark farmland, no lights visible. Inside, the coffee machine rattles slightly with every rail joint. She does not need an alarm to wake up. She has been doing this long enough that her body knows when the train passes through the night and when the passengers will start wanting breakfast. She is a sleeping car attendant on Amtrak's California Zephyr. She has been on this train since Chicago. She will be on it until Emeryville, California, 2 days from now. She will turn around and ride it back. The freight train engineers who use the same track she's riding went to a hotel 12 hours ago. They are legally required to. She is not. What that gap actually looks like across 52 hours, and why the people riding this train almost never think to ask about it, is what this video is about. Here is where it starts. The California Zephyr runs 2,438 miles between Chicago's Union Station and Emeryville, California, in approximately 52 hours. It carries 3 categories of people who work on it, and the relationship to the journey could not be more different from each other. The operating crew, engineers and conductors, works in segments. Each segment is typically 4 to 8 hours. At the end of each one, the outgoing engineer steps off, boards a van, and goes to a hotel to begin a mandatory rest period. A fresh engineer boards and takes over. The conductors follow the same pattern. Federal hours of service law limits both to 12 consecutive hours on duty. After 12 hours, the clock stops, the rest period begins, and a relief crew takes over. Between Chicago and Emeryville, the California Zephyr goes through 8 separate operating crews. Not one of them is on the train for more than a day. The onboard service crew does not work that way. A sleeping car attendant on the California Zephyr boards in Chicago and stays on the train until Emeryville. That is 3 days and 2 nights, with one guaranteed minimum: 4 hours of sleep per night. Not 8, not 10, 4. The collective bargaining agreement between Amtrak and the Transportation Communications Union establishes that floor. 4 hours is what a sleeping car attendant is contractually guaranteed while the train is in motion and passengers are aboard. But the conductor who stepped off in Denver has never seen this part of the train before. He is sleeping in a hotel in Grand Junction tonight. The sleeping car attendant who made his bed last night is still making beds. The superliner consist that makes up the California Zephyr includes a car called the Transition Dormitory, or Transdorm. It sits between the baggage car and the first passenger sleeping car, just behind the locomotives. Its upper level contains 16 roomettes for crew use, along with bathrooms and showers. Its lower level has a small crew lounge. This is where the onboard service crew sleeps when they sleep. The sleeping car attendant's shift does not have a defined end time in the way an engineer's does. She is responsible for her car, typically 10 to 14 roomettes or 5 to 6 bedrooms, from the moment passengers board until the moment the last one departs. In the evenings, she converts seating into beds. A roomette on the California Zephyr folds flat from a facing seat configuration into 2 berths, upper and lower. In a process the attendant does dozens of times per evening across her entire car. The beds need to be made with fresh linens, the privacy curtains drawn, and the call buttons explained. For a full sleeping car, that process can take 2 to 3 hours, depending on when passengers want their rooms prepared. Around 10 or 11 at night, she checks whether any of her passengers need anything else, and then she goes to the Transdorm. She has until approximately 6 in the morning before the first breakfast request. That window is her sleep. In practice, it is often shorter. A passenger call button, a station stop requiring door duty, a late boarding situation. Any of these can interrupt it. At 6 a.m., she starts the coffee. She sets up a small beverage station in the car, checks on early risers, and begins the process of converting the sleeping configuration back to daytime seating for passengers who want it. Breakfast service in the dining car begins around 6:30. If her passengers want wake-up calls, she has provided them. If they have questions about the scenery outside, she answers them. She has done this route enough times to know which canyon comes into view at what hour. The kitchen crew has it differently, but not easier. The Superliner dining car on the California Zephyr seats 72 passengers on its upper level, in booths arranged 4 to a table along both sides of the car. The upper level is what passengers see: white tablecloths, a view out the large windows, the rolling landscape of the American West passing behind every meal. What passengers do not see is the galley below. The galley occupies the entire lower level of the dining car. It is a working kitchen in a space roughly the size of a large walk-in closet, equipped with convection ovens, a grill, refrigeration, and storage for 3 meals a day across however many days the trip takes. A dumbwaiter connects the 2 levels. Food goes up, dishes come back down. The crew working the galley may be 2 to 3 people responsible for producing breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a dining car that turns over multiple times per service. Eggs, omelets, and pancakes are cooked fresh at breakfast. Steak and fish entrees are prepared fresh for dinner. Convection ovens handle items that can be finished to order. The kitchen does not have the option of telling diners there will be a wait because the equipment is busy. The train is moving, the diner is full, and the next meal follows the previous one by about 3 hours. A full dining car service on the California Zephyr might feed 150 passengers in a single meal period across multiple seatings, all of them served from a kitchen that a modest restaurant would consider undersized. The chef who works that kitchen does so while the floor shifts beneath every pan. At 9 in the evening, the train leaves Denver. Denver is the largest crew change point on the California Zephyr's route. The train arrives in the late afternoon and spends enough time in Denver Union Station for servicing, fuel, water, mechanical inspection, exterior washing. Passengers who book the trip from the east know Denver as the place where the serious scenery begins. The crew knows it as the place where the operating crew changes, and the onboard service crew does not. The engineer who brought the train from Lincoln, Nebraska, steps off in Denver. A Denver-based engineer boards and takes over for the run to Grand Junction, the most dramatic stretch of the entire route, through the Colorado Rockies and Glenwood Canyon. The conductor who worked from Omaha is replaced by a Denver conductor. Both of them will have a hotel room at their away terminal, a guaranteed minimum rest period, and a return trip back to their home base before their weekly schedule is complete. The sleeping car attendant does not step off in Denver. She has work to do. The evening meal service is finishing. Passengers are returning to their cars. The beds need turning down before the train enters the mountains. She will be awake when the train passes through the Moffat tunnel at midnight, not because she is required to be, but because the first Rocky Mountain stop, Winter Park, comes at 2 in the morning, and she is on duty for passenger assistance at all station stops. While the engineers and conductors step off into the Colorado night, the sleeping car attendant does not. The Moffat Tunnel runs 6.2 miles through the Continental Divide beneath James Peak, at an elevation where the rock above the tunnel is nearly 4,000 feet thick. When the California Zephyr enters the tunnel's east portal around midnight, the train goes dark outside every window. There is nothing to see. The tunnel takes approximately 7 minutes to pass through at train speed. When the light returns on the other side, the train is on the western slope of the Rockies and the descent toward the Colorado River begins. The sleeping car attendant may or may not be awake at that moment. If her 4-hour window has started, she is in the transdorm. If it has not, if the evening's last passenger call came late, if the Denver stop ran long, she is still in her car. The Zephyr's mountain schedule is built around the assumption that daylight passengers will want to see Glenwood Canyon, one of the most dramatic stretches of river canyon in the American West. The train times its passage through the canyon for late morning, westbound. The night section, through the Rockies themselves, passes mostly while passengers sleep. For the sleeping car attendant, the night through the mountains is her best opportunity for rest on the entire trip. The canyon is dark. The call buttons are quiet. Her passengers are in their beds. She has 4 hours, possibly 5 if the schedule holds, before the coffee needs to start again. Somewhere west of the Rockies, she finally has those hours. If you are finding this useful, hit subscribe. We cover stories like this every week. At Winnemucca, Nevada, the operating crew changes again. The engineer who brought the train from Salt Lake City steps off. A Reno-based engineer takes the final segment over the Sierra Nevada. The conductor follows the same pattern. Both of them are covered by the Hours of Service Act. 12 hours of duty, 10 hours of guaranteed uninterrupted rest, a hotel room provided at the away terminal, and a van to get there. The sleeping car attendant arrives in Emeryville with the train. She has been on board for approximately 52 hours. Federal hours of service law does not apply to onboard service personnel. The law that requires a freight engineer to stop working after 12 hours and rest for 10 has no equivalent provision for the person who has been making beds, pouring coffee, and answering call buttons for the duration of a trip that engineer's counterpart would have required 5 separate crews to complete. In Emeryville, the onboard service crew has 1 night. The train turns around the following morning, and Train 6 departs eastbound for Chicago. The sleeping car attendant who left Chicago 3 days ago will be back in Chicago in another 2.5 days. She will have approximately 6 days off before her next assignment. If she is on the extra board rather than a regular bid job, that layover is not guaranteed. A freight conductor outlaw after 12 hours goes to a Motel 6 off the interstate and legally cannot be contacted for 10 hours. The sleeping car attendant on the California Zephyr has 4 hours contractually guaranteed, a trans-dorm roomette that is often occupied, and a job that starts again when the first passenger wants coffee. This is the specific comparison that the system does not make loudly. The Hours of Service Act, passed in 1907 and last significantly amended in 2008, was written for operating crew. The people whose inattention or fatigue can directly cause a train to miss a signal or run into another. Consist. It was not written for the people who carry the luggage, make the beds, and cook the meals. Those workers are covered by collective bargaining agreements, not federal rest law. And collective bargaining agreements set a floor of 4 hours, not 10. The train does not stop to let her sleep. She sleeps when the train allows it, and then she gets up and makes the coffee. Subscribe for more engineering stories that reveal the logic beneath the surface.